All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Word with Ty Brownlow. I am your host, Ty Brownlow, and remember, no one is worthless, no story is worthless. Today, ladies and gentlemen, got a very special guest for you. Give you a couple of words about my guest. Creative, reading, advocate, mogul, all the way from Delaware. Please put your hands together for Renee.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am well. Thank you for asking. First and foremost, welcome to the show. I welcome you on my platform. I'm very honored to have you here.
Thank you.
And
appreciate it.
No problem at all. Now, I'm always intrigued to get authors on my show. So I just get out of the bag, ladies and gentlemen. Miss K. Renee's an author, but not just any regular type of author now. Now y'all know I like entrepreneurs. I like business people, especially Black folks with business. Okay. So one thing I find very intriguing about you, not only are you an author, okay? Not only is she an author, ladies and gentlemen, she's a self-published author, okay? And she's written over 23 books now.
A little more than that now.
Okay, man, way over 23 now. Okay, 30, 50. I don't even know, but look at we way over the 23 mark. But
right,
still impressive that you are a self-published author. So, as I said before, before we started recording, I seen you on an article, and you were discussing, self-publishing versus traditional publishing. Can you talk a little bit about the pros and cons of self-publishing versus traditional?
Well, when I started out, I didn't really know what to do, how to do it. I just knew that I wanted to write a book. And that was my first process. I didn't even have any guidance on that, and I didn't look for any. So I just sat down and kind of I've read so many urban and romance books. I was like, okay, well, it can't be too hard and I can write, I think. Okay. So kind of sat down and just started. But when I got done, finished with the book, I did reach out to someone in the industry and ask some questions, and they kind of led me in a direction. And then I thought about, do I want to do this on my own? Or do I want to go under publishing? And I kind of went the publishing route at first because I didn't know anything. I didn't have any reading base or fan base. So I went with that in that direction first. Then I said there were some things that happened in the industry that kind of put us out there, and we were on our own. Well, I didn't want to go back to publisher per se. So I said, well, let me write a book. And I wrote a book in 30 days. And I said, well, this book will let me know if I can do this on my own. So there are a few key points that you want to think about. Definitely, if you can find someone that can help you through, I would suggest trying it. But as I said before, I put that book out and I said, well, this will see. I don't know how many actual fans I have, but let's see if I can hold my own. And I did. So I put that book out, and the book hit number 1 within about 7 hours on the charts, the bestseller chart, after it released. And the rest was history. And then I said, well, why don't I try to help other people? So I put out a few books independently before I decided to start my own publishing house. So now I'm a publisher with 29 authors signed to my roster for my company.
Okay.
Yeah. And I wanted to do the company a little bit different. So my authors are allowed to independently drop on their own and also drop under me. So we promote them and do, even when we support them when they're independently releasing a book on their own. So that's a little bit different than your norm. We allow them to do a little bit of both. So they have the best of both worlds. They can independently drop, still get the same fan base because we support them and share and promote in where our fan base is. So it's a little bit different with K Renee Publications, and my marketing tool is a little bit different. Question?
Well, no, I was going to say I find that interesting because from the standpoint that, it's not all in your hands. Like, still at the end of the day, you're teaching them, hey, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
And you can drop whenever you want. You can do this whenever you want. We will still be here to support whatever it is that you do. But how you
Absolutely.
go about the process,
Absolutely.
that's on you. So, like, it's all in how you. Now, if you want to keep going with the process, how it's been going, fine. If you decide that you may want to do it a little bit earlier or do it a little bit later, fine. At the end of the day, it's still fine. We still support you. So,
right.
You teaching them ownership, from the get-go instead of, hand feeding them or what have you to the point. Oh, no, you're going to go right out the bat. You're going to learn it the same way I learned it because that's
right.
it.
The good thing about my publishing house, though, and the authors that are signed, some of them are veterans.
Oh.
And some of them have 100 books, 60 books out already. They just felt like they needed that, push to move them along and kind of, because I'm all about branding, and your brand is what's going to make or break you. And it depends on how you brand yourself. If you want to move forward, your branding has to be on point. And I think some of them just needed that little bit of guidance. And then, as a publisher, I don't expect them to stay with me forever. Eventually, you're going to, like K Renee did, branch out and do your own thing. And hopefully you'll be able to stand on your own. So that's what I want for them.
Okay. Well, and me personally, that just attributes to who you are as a person,
Right.
It's not about you just staying under my wing and, just, hey, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? No, like, man, look, this platform is designed for you. You get on your feet, even though, as you said, some of these authors are already established, 100 or so books. It's just putting that fire underneath you. And hey, you know what? Go on out here and do it, man. Like, what you do. You've been doing it. Just get back out in the game, man, and just do so. For those who have not had a, more pleasant ride with the traditional publishing route, come on over here. We got something for you.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah, we do it. I just ask that all the authors be fair about when they're releasing independent and when they're releasing under the publishing house. Just have that balance of the two. But yeah, they have free reign to independently drop.
Now, I want to ask a very quick question about branding. Now, branding. Now, okay, when it may come to electronics or things of that nature, I do understand branding. Yeah, you know what? You see the name before you see the product. Sometimes you don't even need to test the product or whatever because the name speaks for itself. Now, I know such is the case for publishing as well and books as well, but talk a little bit more about branding from a book perspective, because I don't really think people really truly understand. Like, they hear branding and they probably just think, oh, okay, whatever your book is published on. But no. It's much more than that. So can you just explain a little bit more of that to us?
It's all about branding and marketing. It kind of plays a hand, just like you said, in television, you see these commercials where the companies are selling cell phones or, whatever televisions or whatever the case may be, they're branding their product by doing the commercial and marketing for that particular product. Now, I've been in the industry and I've watched a lot And I'm a businesswoman before I'm an author.
Okay.
That's just key. I came from, I'm a founder of a nonprofit organization, a women's organization. So I'm the vice president of another scholarship foundation where we do scholarships every year. So there's so many hats that I wear, and and it's pretty good that I wear those hats because it helps me better market and brand myself as an author and also running my company. So here's what I did. I saw that there's publishers, they pay for certain things like edits and covers, and they promote their authors and promote the books. They run ads and on all the social media platforms like Amazon and Instagram and all the social media platforms that they have out. So I said to my team, my Renee team that I pay, and I said, I want to do something for Renee. So what can I do to market author Renee on a grander scale, and it's outside of the box? And we were like kind of going over that for a while, and I said, I got it. I said, I want to go on a billboard in Times Square. And they said, well, how are we going to do that? I said, I don't know. Well, you find out how we're going to do it, pretty much. So that was it. I want to go on a billboard in Times Square. As a matter of fact, I want to go on a billboard in every major city. So let's see how we can make that happen. But let's start at Times Square. So we ended up meeting with a media company. And I gave them, my outlook and how I wanted to do it. Right. And they said, okay, we can get it done. They gave me a location in Times Square. And it was, when I say it was dead in the middle of Times Square, it was in the middle of Times Square. On one of the, not the biggest board, but I think it was the second largest board in Times Square. Yeah. And I said, oh, okay. And then it hit me. I said, well, I can't just go by myself. I'm taking all my authors with me. So that's what I did. We launched a billboard in Times Square. I think it was around October 30th of 2020. And then I moved on to Philadelphia, went on a billboard with my company, my authors. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm actually trying to hit as many cities as I can. That's just one way of branding, but that's the biggest way that I could have ever imagined, a Black author, woman at that.
Say it.
Going into Times Square.
Say no. I mean, let's not look.
Yeah.
Around here, you ain't gonna get shortchanged. You're gonna get these flowers. You're gonna get all these flowers, okay? Because you're gonna get these flowers. Look, take these flowers. Okay.
I appreciate it.
But no, look. Let's just really break this down, okay? So you're sitting around, you're having a meeting, you're like, man, there has to be a bigger way. There has to be another way. I don't know. Nobody's coming up with the idea. You know what? Billboard, but in Times Square. We don't even live in Times Square. We don't even know we're near Times Square. Nah, y'all not hearing me. Y'all hearing me, but y'all ain't really hearing what I'm saying to you.
Right.
Billboard, Times Square. Okay, yeah, let's just go with it. Okay, yeah, sure. Book the billboard in Times Square. Man, roll out all the semantics and everything. It's set in stone this time. So not only do you go to the actual spot where the billboard is going to be displayed, you bring the team.
Yeah.
Bring the team.
And my team, yeah.
Man, so you bring the team with you. Oh, well, okay. I still don't understand, Ty. Follow me. So, visionary, creative. You have to present something that's not there, even when it is there. They just don't know it is. Okay? Man, that is very inspiring on many different levels.
Yeah.
You know, even though it was just for K Renee or what have you, you're still part of this team. And just because it happened for K Renee doesn't mean that it can't happen for you too.
Yeah.
So you can just follow suit and do exactly what it is that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's inspiring. I mean,
yeah, and that kind of went in the book industry. That was like talked about, because not only did we go in New York City's Times Square, we went in the New York City public transportation. So their transit line, and you got on a bus or train, you saw K Renee publications, K Renee authors, their books. You saw it.
So now let me ask, you didn't keep, now I'm pretty sure some of these rates are like crazy or whatever, just
they
to,
were.
you know, do this, that, what have you. So we're not even talking about like, what, 2 or 3 days. We may be talking about an hour or so, a couple of hours, what have you, a day at the most. Okay.
On the board?
Yes.
No. We were up for over a month.
Oh! So
yeah.
no, okay. So, all right. First and foremost, my apologies. Okay. So up on the board for almost a month. That's marketing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And one other thing that was interesting is that I was doing these things simultaneously. So right after New York Times Square went down, Philadelphia went up. So, and then about a week after Times Square went up, the marketing for the transit lines in New York went up. So I had a lot going on, but we wanted to launch it. We wanted to make sure that everybody was covered. That was an author signed to me. So
yeah,
it worked out, and it was just it was inspiring just seeing it made my heart melt just seeing my authors so excited. It's like, I'm in Times Square. I can't believe it. I think they were more excited than I was. I was excited not to see my face in Times Square, but to see how they responded.
And okay, which goes back to what we just said. I mean, look, you have to understand, like, that's like clear leadership.
Right.
Like, you know, people talk about leadership from time to time or whatever, but you know, I always say either you're pushing or you're pulling. You got to decide which one you are as. Okay, either you're going to push or you're going to pull.
Right.
It's on you. So the fact that you bring the team, as I said before, bring the team to Times Square, they're already excited because they're like, hey, we in Times Square, this, that, what have you, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Like, man, no, this is something much more than us being in Times Square. This is for all of you all to get it into your heads. This is where we are. This is business. This is branding. You know, people will recognize K Renee, and you being an extension, meaning the authors.
The authors.
An extension of that only bodes well for them because, like you said, the name. It's about branding. You're gonna see the name before you even meet the person. So if you know the name, and the name already speaks for itself as quality, then the person behind the name, oh, hey, I'm going to hold you in high regards because you come from this stock or you come from this brand. And at the end of the day, who does it roll back on? The person who created the brand. And it's that you originally have for them. Man, look here. Hey, Renee got it going on, y'all. Okay, for real. All my writers out there, young writers, look here. Y'all better holler at this woman. See what she got going on.
Yeah.
Look,
come on over,
man. Come on. So look, let's talk a little book lingo. Lingo real quick. Now, before we even get into certain questions, and I just want you to spend maybe 2 minutes, maybe tops, but just a little tidbit. Real simple. You got people out here listening. You have people out here who pretty much know who you are. But they have their book inside them. It's right here inside. Man, as a matter of fact, it's right here. The book is right here. If I cough, man, I'm gonna give you a chapter I ain't even supposed to give you. Okay,
Right.
but just can't seem to get started on it. Why? What can I do? What tip can K. Renee give me? Just a little tip on how to get started on my book.
Start writing. Point blank.
Get it. Just do
Start. Just because I didn't know. I'm just gonna put it down, and I'll go back and fix and do everything. Just get all your ideas on paper. And then at that point, even if you're just outlining. Now, K. Renee, my fashion of writing is not outline, I freestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's a good thing in a way, and it's a bad thing in a way, because then you just freestyle the book. The only thing you have is that manuscript. So I got to go back and say, how many months was that girl pregnant again? Right. I don't remember.
Right. Okay.
Had I outlined or wrote things down,
right,
I would know that.
Right.
But and I'm depending on my memory. So it's always key to just think about, what you really want to write about or what your storyline is, and just put them on paper.
Okay.
Put it on paper.
Okay. So,
yep.
Keyword you just hit on storyline. So now I'm about to jump into my next question, Miss K. Renee. Okay.
Okay.
So, man, we're first starting out now. Okay, man, so we're getting into this. Man, okay, I done listened to this K. Renee on Word with Ty Brownlow, man. Okay. All right, I'm going. So now, storyline versus character development. You're starting now. Which one? Just in your opinion now, you know what I'm saying? Now, I mean, this isn't like written in stone. I'm just getting opinions. But which one is more important? I mean, even though both are key,
very much so.
Both start now. Okay.
Storyline.
Why?
Well, in order to develop the character, you need to know what you're developing. So to me, the storyline needs to be, at least you have to know what you're going to write about and who you're going to write about. And then when the story starts, you're able to, okay, I'm going to write about this person and I want this character to be like this. And then your development starts. So the storyline needs to be, you need to have a clear vision of your storyline in order to create the characters and develop the characters that you're putting in that storyline. So, and you don't have to have a complete storyline, because I never have a complete, because my story always make a turn left when I want it to go right. But you have to have a clear view of where you're going on your storyline. So I clearly would suggest knowing your storyline first.
Okay. So you heard it here, people. Storyline. Get that storylines together, man. Look here. Character development is key. True.
Very much.
Man, like you want to know as many facets to the character as possible. But you can't really get all of that if you don't have a good concrete storyline. Not saying you got to be Shakespeare and put us in, this, that, or what have you, man. Look, storyline. Make sure it's relatable. Make sure it relates to the character that you're talking about, so you can tell the story that you want. I got you. Okay, all right. Now, let's talk about fears of writing, because we all have them, and it can come from me personally. I'm going to say two main places. It comes from other people and the audience that you feel you may want in your mind, but in reality, you're really writing for another audience. Like, can you talk a little bit about that? Like, okay, in my mind, this is who I really want to write for. But when you really sit down and look at it, you like, man, this sounds like my man. I didn't wrote for the wrong audience, man. You know,
I talk about that all the time. So yeah, I preach it to my authors. I said, please know your audience. You have to know who you're writing for, because if I'm writing, and my characters are the ages between 18 and 22. Okay. I'm looking at my kids differently because like that's my kids. I don't want to read about them per se.
Right. Right. No.
So knowing your audience is definitely key. I know that I'm going to people that are from the ages of 18 to 64. I'm going to say more than that because I just found out that I had a fan that's over 70.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I found out some months ago, but I found out, I was like, oh my God, you can't read my book. I won't even let my grandma read it. So, like, no, you can't. I'd rather not have you as a fan, but a friend.
You know what? Stop it now. You're trying to get that book now. Stop that now.
I know. So I did find I have a lot of older fans, but yeah, you gotta know your audience and the people that you're writing for. I'm fine in the genre that I'm writing in, and I'm fine with the demographic of people that I write for, because I know that I have a diverse group of ages and even race. So
yeah. Now you know what? That's important. Now that's important too, because we don't really see. First and foremost, when we hear urban drama, we normally think Black books.
Mm-hmm.
We think like Zane, all these other like authors, what have you.
Mm-hmm.
That's not necessarily the case, man. Like urban like literature is not just Black people, writing stories about Black folks. That's this, that, and the other. Like, man, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot happening out here in the world that you all may not really, understand. Yeah, like
right.
That's true though.
I
mean, you as a writer, I'm pretty sure you get that all the time.
I have fans in Canada. I have fans in the UK. I have fans in Japan. We get a list of people that purchase our books. Mm-hmm. Not per se who purchased our books, but where they were purchased from.
Exactly.
And all of those places were purchased places like Japan and the Netherlands and places like that. So you just never know.
Right. So
who's reading you?
Hey, look.
And I'm all for it. If I can entertain you, I will.
All for it. Hey, and that's what it is at the end of the day. If it's a great story, it doesn't matter where it's coming from. A great story is a great story at the end of the day. Okay.
Right.
So now let me ask this question to you, Ms. Renee.
Mm-hmm.
TV adaptation of books. Like or dislike, and why?
I like the idea.
Okay. Why?
Well, I guess I need your question clarified a little bit.
Okay, let me clarify. So some made-for-TV movies that are based off of, the book or what have you, these books. Sometimes, it could be hit or miss. But, I feel like certain stories just really shouldn't be made for TV, Certain stories really shouldn't be made for the movies because it's just that good of a story and it really needs to be told out, and you're not going to really capture the full essence of certain stories.
You're right.
Personally.
So I'm for it. I'm kind of sort of like you. There are certain books that I think should just be left as a book. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes it could be so in depth that you won't be able to get it all out. And never will a show give you what the book will. But there are also shows that will, like, if you do series, I think you can get a lot out doing a series. But if you do a movie, a film, a film into a book, it's going to be hard to do. But I am personally trying to do get my books into film. So that's just a task, that another avenue I have to take, and trying to figure out the best steps for me to take to get those into film. But we're in that process of getting the books into screenplay. And
okay, so,
yeah.
But I mean, that's another avenue, for authors or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes even screenplays, it doesn't necessarily not have to be a movie.
Right, it could be a play.
Right, it can be a play, or you could just take a certain chapter, or adapt a version of a chapter into a play. It doesn't necessarily have to be exactly from the book, but this is featured from this book because of ideas or whatever sparked from
right.
We wrote this. Okay.
Right.
Cool. Okay. All right. Now, if people want to get your services, man, if people want to get these books, if people just want to get in contact with K. Renee, be like, look here, man, I love by a Billionaire and A Love So Good 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So if you want to be like all that, yeah, see, come on now. How can people get in contact with some K. Renee?
They can go onto my website. I'm on Amazon. So just go to Amazon and type in K.Renee. My catalog should come up. My book should come up by just typing in my name. My website address is authorkrenee.com. Facebook is Karen Renee. My Instagram is Author K. Renee. So let's see what else I got going on. I got a lot of KReneePublications.com. There are so many ways to reach out to me. But even if you Google me, K.Renee, I'll pop up.
Google her. Okay, look.
Yeah.
She got books, y'all. All right. She got series, y'all. Man, I ain't even go down. Look, I only gave y'all 3 books. Okay, it's a whole nother 20 steps that I gotta go through. Man, I ain't even gonna go there.
Yeah.
So look, now, I just first and foremost, once again, I want to thank you for coming on this platform. I cannot believe that the time is gone by the way the time.
I know, but I appreciate it.
Man, no, for real. You've been schooling me a little bit, man. And I hope you've been schooling these people out here listening too, because it's much more than what we take into consideration to actually put out a publication,
Right.
So, man, I got to ask this question because this is the question that my show's known for. So here it is.
Okay.
Hey, Renee, what is the one word that best describes you and why?
Determination.
Determination. Why? I love it.
I'm determined to make it. I'm just determined. Anything that I put my mind and heart to, I'm just determined to complete the task. So determination is definitely a trait of K. Renee. I'm just a determined woman.
Visionary. That's my word for you. Actually, visionary leadership. I mean, I know that's 2 words, but you know what? I'm just gonna this is my show, and I can say whatever I want. So I'm just visionary leadership. Okay, all right. It's one word. All right. And the reason being is, man, everything we just finished talking about, everything that you've done so far, the fact that you had the idea. Well, no, you know what? Go a little bit bigger. Well, I don't know how big we gonna go, man. You know what?
Right.
We gonna go big. How big? Man, I don't know, but big. How big?
Right.
You know what? Times Square big. Man, that's a little damn big. Well, not really. Not really.
Right.
And boom, you're introducing these visions to people, like you're getting that's leadership. And as you said, man,
right.
I don't want y'all under me forever. I want y'all to go out on your own and do, man. Please.
And they got it,
man. So yes, visionary leadership. Okay. Yes, there you go. All right. With a little bit of determination.
Determination.
There we go. It's all in right there. Boom. There you go. Okay, Renee. All right. No,
Right.
look, I have enjoyed you. I have enjoyed this conversation.
Absolutely.
And man, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Word with Ty Brownlow. I've been your host, Ty Brownlow. Remember, no one is worthless. No story is worthless. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Word with Ty Brownlow, or you can just go to my website, tybrownlow.com. You can get this wonderful interview plus other great interviews. Hey, Renee, I thank you.
Appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. We out, people. Peace.